Recently, singer Brian Mcknight was awarded $8.8 million in a lawsuit against his ex-wife over financial and defamation claims. Now, when I saw this story pop up, I had to talk about it because outside of the racial politics of the culture war, where the so-called minorities pretend to be victims while terrorizing the population, the other aspect of that is the gender politics, where women pretend to be victims and demonize all heterosexual men. This is why I say if you're white and if you're a heterosexual man and liberal, you hate yourself. And this is a prime example of heterosexual men should never be liberal. Because, as you know, over the last couple of years, Brian Mcknight has had his name thrown in the mud by his ex-wife and sons, mainly because he cut off his adult sons in 2019. Because I do remember before this became a story, seeing that they were on tour together. Like he made a song with them. They sung at one of NASCAR's events, a national anthem. So I knew that he was involved with his sons into their adulthood. But then again, things happened. He got a new wife, a Filipina, which we know when a black male is not with a black woman, that right there, you already know you're dead to most of the black community, because only black women are allowed to date outside of Negroes. And then he had a son and he named him Junior. And I do remember earlier on, he explained that one of the main reasons why he cut him off is because they refused to be financially independent. He gave them to a certain point to where they would have to sort of, make their own way financially, which, again, his so-called kids were allegedly adult men. I mean, they were there biologically, just not mentally. And then, of course, the ex-wife gets involved, accuse him of all of these abuse claims, which we know that's a go-to for women, And despite like all of the evidence that's been put out there, seeing him with his adult sons, doing music with them, in this post that he made, he even played a voicemail where she's telling him not to contact his son, the son that now has recently died of cancer. And so when they were on top of everything else saying that he was avoiding his dying son, you have in the voicemail her threatening him from contacting him. So she was lying. But despite all of this exposure and this financial victory from the courts, which is the difficult thing for a man to win against a woman, in court, despite though all of that evidence and that victory, you still have Negro wenches and liberal women in general and their simps insulting him. Talk about how much of a bad guy he is. And again, it just perfectly represents why no heterosexual man really has no business getting seriously involved with Western women. I mean, the success rate is so low, it's not worth it to a man, specifically if you're a man that has resources. Now, if you're a broke dude, yeah, you can get away with dating and advancing because, as we know, a lot of women like to take care of broke dudes. Despite all the noise that they'll spew about a man needing to have this, that, and the third. I mean, we've seen plenty of Pookie and Ray Rays have little to nothing, but still able to get multiple women knocked up, have multiple children around the country in America. But it's when the man does have means, that's when their talons come out. And so, yeah, he has this victory. He has the evidence and truth on his side. I mean, again, you also have to remember his sons, or I think one of them, if not both of them, broke into his home. Broke into his home and damaged the picture that had their father with his new wife in the picture. Now, again, like, that would be viewed as very threatening because who knows? They could have came with a gun. I mean, we know that, kids aren't above killing their own parents. I mean, we've seen those stories in the news. So, yeah, that probably added to the reason why he just eventually disowned them. And he also had litigation with his daughter. But, that's how it is. You could be that provider for all of their childhood, a good portion of their adult life, but they'll still, in most instances, side with the mother. And dudes are just expect to grin and bear it. Because, the women is queen, especially when you're talking about, Negroes, giving themselves these self-aggrandizing titles of queen. But yeah, I'm not surprised though. Even though in victory, in the truth being revealed through the courts that are generally biased against men, that you still have these sister queens rejecting that because they don't care about the truth. And again, that's another main principle of liberalism. They don't give two shits about the truth. So you could go over all the statistics. You could share all your personal experiences. You can show all the evidence and proof in the world. It means nothing to liberals in general. Not just when it comes to instances like this, but like I said before, reality of race, the reality of anything. I mean, again, these are the people that will argue that you can become a woman or be born in the wrong body. Like, again, just fundamental reality, they reject every time when it comes to the trans issue. So based on that alone, you should know they don't care about the truth, no matter how obvious it is.